There's not a typical homeless person.
There's so many reasons and everybody has their own story.
But it's very real and it's in our community. It's in every community.
It could happen to anyone, and it happened to me.
Housing insecurity, particularly among college students, is becoming a national epidemic.
At the national level, I can tell you that there is the Hope Center at Temple University that has amazing research. Their surveys, many times from those students who answer their questions and elaborate on what their current status is, 40 to 50% of the students who complete the survey are experiencing food or housing insecurity.
In this past year, over 2,000 students were identified as homeless in DuPage County.
And those numbers include members of the COD community. Regardless of the numbers, there are various types of housing insecurity that people face.
There's episodic homelessness, there's transitional homelessness, chronic homelessness, and hidden homelessness.
So oftentimes this happens when people are at poverty level or very near poverty level, so they're struggling to make ends meet.
But uniquely enough, episodic homelessness could also be a disaster. Perhaps like the Woodridge tornadoes, when we had the tornadoes that came through in 2021, through Naperville and Woodridge and Darien, and that displaced people who found themselves to be homeless.
The families we work with are frequently called the hidden homeless because they're not, the single adult standing out on maybe the street corner with a sign asking for help. They're not necessarily the people who have been living outside.
They're sharing housing with family, with friends, often on a very temporary basis where they have no rights to the residence.
I did spend a couple nights in my car. The first night I went to Walmart. I figured that was going to be a safe space.
We see people who are couch surfing.
I was homeless. I was left with no home, and I was couch surfing.
No matter what type of housing insecurity, the stigma that goes along with it and the effects it takes on those suffering from it can be severe and have significant consequences.
Stigma is dangerous to people because it casts people in a light that is not helpful to them achieving better things in their lives. What we see with the clients is that they feel stigmatized by others often. They're seen in a negative light and therefore they feel cut off from services and resources, and it makes it hard for them to reach out for the help they may need.
While challenging to accept, caring, proven help is available.
The solution to homelessness is always housing. Now, how do you obtain housing? That's the big question. It's different things for different people.
We have a multitude of agencies here in DuPage County that are working tirelessly to house and provide supports and services to the individuals who find themselves experiencing homelessness.
We're in a county, DuPage is a county, where there's simply not enough apartments available for the number of renters out there.
And College of DuPage is here to help.
We try to get the word out so that we know, our adjuncts are giving information to their students. I serve on the BIT, it's the Behavior Intervention Team. I see the other side of the students, right? Students in crisis, to try to get support for them, but also support for the instructors so that they're aware on the services that we can provide for their students.
You need to know that there's help out there, and there's good help out there, and good people in the community. I mean, we're very fortunate.
It's not everyone chooses that situation. My face is a face of a homeless person, and it's not, what you think of as a typical homeless person.
We need to care about the student. So that culture of care is something that is top of mind for us and that we continue to discuss here at the college all the time.
So food insecurity, it really is looking at when somebody does not have or has an economic situation that's impacting their access to consistent food, and consistent food that can help them maintain a healthy lifestyle.
So I felt like I lived like a college student, right? Because I was eating ramen like it was going out of style. I mean, I couldn't afford fruit, vegetables. That was, a luxury.
A College of DuPage study showed that right here at COD, there were members of the community in need. The result was an exciting new resource.
The fuel pantry started around 2017, 2018. It was a project by our honors society here at Phi Theta Kappa. They did a survey of students and found there was food insecurity on campus.
People's Resource Center really provides a one-stop shop in DuPage County for residents who are in need of a variety of supports. About 80% of our clients come to us for our food pantry, so that's often the main way individuals are coming to us.
This is a resource from COD, just like financial aid, just like the library. You have the food pantry.
Don't do this alone. There's resources and there's people.
Meet Megan and Sonia, both COD graduates. Each went through and overcame housing insecurity. These are their stories.
In around, 2001, my husband of 14 years then got relocated to Texas. So my son and my husband and I, we moved to Texas, and we bought our second home there, had our second child. It was going pretty good. It was a fun experience until he was accused of a crime, and he was worried that he wouldn't get a fair shot at combating it because he was not a citizen yet. We were working on that. And so he left the country, and that left me and the family devastated.
I was a middle school teacher. I taught middle school for 4 years. I was married and got divorced. When I got divorced, I realized that I was in financial ruin.
So I got back to DuPage County and thought that my in-laws were going to be able to, be supportive. That was the plan, that I would stay and live with them. That didn't work out real well. The relationship was not strong enough with my in-laws to be the support that I needed. Things just didn't pan out in that way. So within a month and a half of being back in Illinois, back in DuPage County, I was homeless.
And I had nowhere to live. I wound up living on friends' couches, spent a lot of time bouncing from home to home, trying to find a way to just make a living and maintain my job.
I was left with no home, and I was couch surfing.
Once I outstayed my welcome, I did spend a couple nights in my car.
When you're doubling and tripling up families, it's very disrupting to be with them, and their lives get disrupted, yours gets disrupted. It may not even be legal if they're renting and they can't have people there.
Megan and Sonia both found support that helped them take the next steps toward removing their housing insecurity.
So it was just under a year, and then during that time, again, I just bounced around. One of my friends, that her classroom was next to mine, and I confided in her. She supported me all that she could and welcomed me into her home.
He, by the grace of God, suggested or told me about Bridge Communities, and that was the game changer for me.
Both Megan and Sonia successfully removed their housing insecurities when they moved into places of their own.
So when I first moved in, it was exciting, yet I cried the entire night because I had nothing. I slept on the floor, right? And I remember thinking, I was so nervous. It wasn't the safest area, but it was a place with a roof over my head. And I remember how happy I was not having to live on someone else's couch or in my car, or just fearful where I was going to be the next day. It was consistency, and it was day one of picking myself back up.
They provided me an apartment for free for the duration of the program. It's almost really unbelievable, especially if you've never had help in the community. I'll never forget my brother saying, "Are you sure? Like, is this really real?" I'm like, "I don't know, but it's the best thing I've got going so far. So I'm going to take a chance." And I'm glad I took that chance.
So those were exciting moments for me as I regained my courage to be better. My self-esteem that I could do better, and just lifting myself up to be better.